Alright everyone, today is a new bike reveal slash like midterm review of my new Meta SX V5. I say new, it's actually either a 23 or a 24 model. I got it secondhand of a guy who works at Commencal. It's basically the signature build, so the Fox factory suspension paired with Shimano XT group set. So I thought I'd just make a quick video on why I bought the bike and then like my initial thoughts after riding it for the last few months. Alright, so at the end of last year I was going on a bike holiday trip primarily to do shuttles, and it didn't even cross my mind to take my Giant Rain Enduro bike over my Commencal Meta e-bike. I think the main reason is that there was just too much difference between my 27.5-inch carbon analog bike versus my 25 kilo alloy e-bike. It just felt too sketchy and too light and too compact, so I wanted to get a new bike to bridge the gap so that there's not as much difference when I'm going between the e-bike and my analog. So enter the Commencal Meta SX V5. So up the front, it's got the Fox Factory 170 Grip 2 and the Float X2 in the rear. Now, up until a couple months ago, this is the bougiest stuff they made. Obviously, they brought out the new stuff now. Still feels pretty good to me, as long as I don't blow up that shock. So as for the cockpit now, I put on my Renthal 40mm rise bars. The XT, now it came with a Fox Factory. Now, if we just go into the gripes, right? So it came with a Fox Factory 175. This is a 210, it still has a little bit sticking out, but the 175, I had like 6 inches sticking out. What is it with companies putting on dropper posts that are too small and cranks that are too damn long? These are 170s, I want like a 160. So the silver lining in there is that the e-bike's just got an upgrade, and now she's fully Kashima coated. Slick. It's another little bonus, this is like the optimum seat height, well basically the optimum seat height for pedaling efficiency, so it fits better as well. And it's an e-bike, so who really cares what the seat finishes up anyway? But anyway, coming back to the cockpit, so obviously got the one-up dropper post there. The TRPs, I had the option of putting on my XTs from the old, my Giant Rain that I sold. I've kept the TRPs, A, because they look cool. Everyone rates them, they're more expensive. They do feel good, they're easy to bleed, the stopping power is great. These levers, I just don't know. Like, there's so much dead stroke here. I'm so used to my Shimano XTs where it's a bit more snappy, so I don't know. I know they do like a pro version of these now. I might swap them out. I don't know. I find it really difficult going between the XT and these. My fingers just get confused. All right, so moving up to the back, obviously, like I said, it's got the 170 cranks. Now, this originally came with a DT Swiss 350 hub and XT cassette. I swapped it over to my Yamaha hub. And there's a couple of reasons. The main reason is because it's got a GX cassette on there. Like, eventually the idea is to pull all this off and go for a SRAM T-type. So I've gone with the SRAM hub, or the hub with the ability to go to a SRAM T-type. All right, so the idea is that I prove to you and me that I can take this bike on anything I'd be willing to take my e-bike on. So I'm gonna head over to Bear Creek, do all the stuff over there. I'm gonna come back to Narrabeen and tackle all the bush jumps over here. But first, I hope I don't lose you guys here. I'm gonna go and do like a little presentation on like the differences between my old Giant Rain and this bike to kind of like see how far bikes have come in the last few years. So if that doesn't interest you, just like skip it and go to the riding. Alright, so that's obviously the new bike, the Commencal Meta SX V5, and this is my old bike. It's a Giant Rain Advanced 2020 27.5. Now I've done the best I can to line these two bikes up. They're both 27.5-inch rear wheels, so I've used that to size them up to give you a good idea for what's going on. It's not perfect, but it's going to be pretty close. Okay, so just running through the numbers here, obviously the wheels on the Meta SX V5, it's a mullet, 29 in the front, 27.5 inch in the rear, and for the old Giant Rain it was 27 front and rear. Alright, so moving on to the stack, which is like the vertical lines there from the headset down to the cranks. I think this has made the biggest difference. It's gone from a 599 to a 643, so a 44mm increase. Okay, so moving on to the reach, which is like the horizontal lines there, it's weird. It's gone from a 469, so that's the purple Giant Rain, to a 480, which is the red on the Commencal Meta SX. So it's increased by 11mm, but because of the seat angle, which kind of doesn't get taken into account when you're talking about the reach, it actually feels more compact, at least when you're pedaling and you're sitting down. I guess when you're standing up, that's when you'd notice it would be a little bit bigger, but it kind of just feels like it's more compact even though the reach has gotten longer. Alright, so moving on to the seat tube length, it's gone from a 464 down to a 440. I don't know what to say about this other than in the old bike I had a 180mm dropper and I had a little bit to spare. I have no idea how much more I could get in. On the new bike, it had a 175, I've gone from a 175 into a 210, and I can get the 210 dropper post in with a little bit to spare, so I could probably go for a little bit more, but I think I'm almost maxed out at my 210 dropper now. Okay, so moving on to the C-tube angle, we've gone from a 72.5 to a 77.5, so a 5-degree steeper seat angle. I think that's pretty obvious. And Giant dragged their heels so badly with increasing the seat angle. I think after 2020 is when they finally pulled their finger out and started increasing it. So in theory, it's a better to pedal bike because of the seat angle, but because it's heavier, I don't think the pedaling experience has improved in terms of times. It is more comfortable though. So head tube length has gone from 115 to 125, so 10 mil increase. I guess that's just helping increase the stack. Head tube angle is almost nothing in it. It's gone from 64.5 to 64. Alright, so the chainstay length, we've gone from a 435 on the Giant Rain to a 447, so it's a 12 mil increase, and I presume that's helping keeping the bike more stable. And finally for the wheelbase, we've gone from a 1236 on the Giant Rain to a 1280, so a 44 mil increase there. Alright. Still can't. Yeah! So the plan was to hit that step up on the next time round, but the park shut, so that was it. Alright, so the first up in Mountain Narrow is vaults. Ooh. Whoa! That was deep. That felt nice. That felt real nice. Blackalicious. That's way better. Right, finishing it off with your mum. Well, one jump on your mum at least. Nice. Alright, so the final thoughts on the bike. Listen, for a bike that doesn't have a motor, it's pretty fun to ride. It's still a little bit hard to get enthusiastic about bikes that don't have motors, but pointing downhill, it's great. The 29 front, the higher stack, the longer wheelbase, and the longer chainstay has just meant that now when I'm gonna do a big feature, it's just, I'm not thinking about the bike, it's just the general fear of a big feature now. Alright, so just one thing about this bike that does piss me off, right, which I haven't heard anyone else talk about. Right, so this drink bottle holder, everyone says like there's not a whole lot of room, but that's not the thing that pisses me off, right? So this is pretty much perfectly cut out to fit a fidlock, like they've designed it to do that. But they've designed it upside down, so you have to install this thing upside down, which means on your fidlock bottle, you have to swap this around. But on my other bike, it's not, and so I have to have a bottle for this bike and a bottle for that bike. If not, I'm forever twisting this thing and flicking it around, and these things like are fragile. They just get on the piss really quickly, and so they loosen up, and I don't want to do it. Why is this upside down? So if anyone knows why that needs to be installed upside down, please let me know. It just seems like a stupid engineering flaw. So the drink bottle, the cranks that are too long, the dropper post is too short, maybe like the TRP brakes, like you obviously can't fault the bike, but I need to get used to these. So other than that, I really can't fault the bike. If you're wondering, does it squeak? No, it doesn't squeak. And also, if you watch Louis Buchanan's video of the Commencal Meta V5, like this is not the V5, right? So no flex. So it's got that cross brace there where the V5 doesn't. I don't know. It's not flexible like the V5, if that's what you were wondering. Okay, so if you have any questions about the bike, drop a comment. I'll get back to you. If not, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.